Not what you were expecting, hmm?
You're just a man.
Flesh and blood. Don't tell me I'm a disappointment.
Loki is one of the best series produced by Marvel, which people enjoy watching. But if you missed something interesting in Loki, then we are going to cover it up in this video. Here are some epic moments that were missed in Loki. By the way, make sure to click that subscribe button to stay up to date with all our engaging videos, and use that trigger finger by smashing that like button. Let's get into it. Ready?
To thank you for watching this video, we're offering you an absolutely free training webinar. Do you want to learn the secret of improving all aspects of your life and unlocking what you're really capable of? The legendary Bob Proctor spent over 57 years learning this one thing and is hosting a free webinar where he reveals what he's learned and what actually works. He'll teach you the law of compensation, a secret only the mega wealthy know of but not taught in our educational system, and the impression of increase, the law of laws that will increase areas in all aspects of your life, whether it be in health, relationships, or wealth. Right now, the first 200 people to use the link below will get access to this free webinar. Now, let's get back to the video.
Loki is an American television series created by Michael Waldron for the streaming service Disney+. Based on Marvel Comics featuring a character of the same name. Set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, it shares continuity with the films of the franchise and takes place after the events of the film Avengers Endgame 2019, in which an alternate version of Loki created a new timeline. Loki is produced by Marvel Studios, with Waldron serving as head writer and Kate Herron directed for the first season. Some points you might have skipped in Loki. In episode 3, when the Variant arrives, attempting to meet the Timekeepers, and is followed and confronted by Loki, he uses a tempad to teleport them both away when Renslayer attacks him. Loki magically hides it, and the Variant, who goes by the alias Sylvie, agrees to work with him to charge it. They sneak aboard a train bound for the Ark, an excavation spaceship which they believe can recharge the tempad. However, Loki gets drunk and starts a ruckus, leading to a fight with guards who eventually throw him off the train. Sylvie follows him only to find the tempad broken, and the duo decides to finish the journey on foot and commandeer the Ark so they can use it to escape. Loki and Sylvie fight their way through guards and a crowd of people attempting to board the Ark, but meteors from the oncoming planet destroy the Ark before they can board. Things you might have missed in episode 3 of Loki. Sylvie wears a horn headpiece, like Loki, except hers is missing one of the horns. In the Loki, Agent of Asgard comic series, Loki and Lady Loki wears a similar headpiece with a missing horn. This happened in episode 2, but since the scene shows up again, I've got to point it out. When Loki lands in the storm, you can see he looks to the sky hoping to see Thor, which is different from Loki being scared in the Avengers. When Sylvie enters the TVA, she quickly realizes her powers don't work here, which is something Ravonna told Loki in episode 1. Not only is Loki reunited with his daggers, but he also does a little flip with them, which was featured in the Thor Ragnarok trailers. The first magic Loki uses after leaving the TVA, his good old teleporting behind the back of your enemy trick, which he notably used in the Avengers when he stabbed Coulson. In this comic, Lamentis is where a lot of Quasar and Moondragon stories happen. Phyla-Vell takes up the Quasar mantle. Phyla's the daughter of Mar-Vell, yes, from Captain Marvel, and Moondragon is Drax's daughter. In episode 2, I pointed out that Sofia de Martino's character might not be Lady Loki, but Sylvie Enchantress, and it looks like that's who she is. She tells Loki her name, and Loki calls her magic enchantments throughout the episode. While on Lamentis 1, Loki uses his shape-shifting abilities, which we notably saw him showcase in Thor: The Dark World when he turned into Steve Rogers. Loki tells Sylvie that he got his tricks from his mother, and she's the one who taught him. This was previously mentioned in Thor: The Dark World by Thor, who claims Loki had Frigga's tricks, but Thor had her trust. Loki and Sylvie talk about Sylvie's mind control powers, and in the comics, Sylvie Enchantress uses mental manipulation, most notably in Dark Reign Young Adventures. My new favorite Mischief duo also had a conversation about love, and whether it's a coincidence or not. I love that it kind of pokes fun at Vision's line from WandaVision. Sylvie asks Loki if he's ever been in a relationship with would-be princesses or perhaps another prince. This is the first time Loki's bisexuality has been addressed in the MCU. In several comics, Loki's sexuality is bi. Writer Al Ewing, who wrote Loki, Agent of Asgard, said, yes, Loki is bi. He'll shift between genders occasionally, as well. Loki sings an Asgardian while on the train, which is similar to when we heard Wanda sing in Sokavian in WandaVision. In both cases, this is one of the few times we've heard them speak in their first language. Loki smashes his glass and demands another drink, which is of course a brilliant callback to Thor smashing his coffee mug in Thor. Sylvie takes off her horn headpiece and uses it as a weapon during a fight, which is something Loki also did in Thor Ragnarok. When Loki is thrown from the train, he lands and flips his hair, the same way he does after falling in Thor Ragnarok. Loki realizes the only way to survive Lamentis' destruction is to board the Ark. This is similar to what the future Loki realizes in Thor Ragnarok when Asgard is being destroyed.
To thank you for watching this video, we're offering you an absolutely free training webinar. Have you ever wondered how to end procrastination and self-sabotage so you can unleash your full potential to live the life you deserve? #1 best-selling author and high-performance coach Peter Sage is hosting a free webinar where he'll teach you how to increase your wealth with less time and struggle, and also how to hyper-boost your growth and success so you can finally break out of any rut you find yourself in. Right now, Peter and his team are offering a free $100 gift to anyone who doesn't find his webinar as the best use of their time within the last 5 years. Now, let's get back to the video.
Some points you might have skipped in Loki. Sylvie learns from Renslayer that Loki was teleported to the Void, a dimension at the end of time where everything the TVA prunes are dumped into, from which nothing has returned. The other Loki variants tell Loki that the massive cloud-like creature Alioth hunts and kills any life in the Void. Boastful Loki betrays the other Lokis for a second Loki group, which itself dissolves into fighting. Things you might have missed in episode 5 of Loki. This episode is so packed full of Easter eggs that even the title is a Marvel comic reference. Journey into Mystery started as a rather run-of-the-mill anthology title published starting in 1952, back before Marvel was Marvel. With Journey into Mystery number 83 in 1962, the title switched to being all about the new superhero, Thor. Fast forward to 2011, and Journey into Mystery became Kid Loki's comic with issue number 622. So this is far from the first time that classic Loki, Richard E. Grant, and Kid Loki, Jack Vale, have appeared in something titled Journey into Mystery. And in the opening shot of the Void, we see a completely ravaged cityscape that includes the most familiar building in the MCU's NYC, Stark Tower. But if you look closely, you'll notice that it doesn't have Stark on it. Instead, it has QENG. In the comics, Queen Enterprises bought the tower from Tony Stark in 2015's all-new, all-different Avengers #1. So yeah, this is the latest in a long line of references to the villain, who will be played by Jonathan Majors in the upcoming Ant-Man sequel. And who knows, maybe next week's Loki finale? This is a fun one. Yes, that crashed helicopter with Thanos written across its tails from the comics. A truly bizarre piece of late 70s continuity. The Thanos copter, yeah, that's what it's called, debuted in a short tale in 1979's Spidey Super Stories number 39. The story pits Thanos against Spider-Man and Hellcat, who possesses the powerful cosmic cube, known as the Tesseract in the MCU. And you better believe that Thanos piloted a helicopter with his name on it to track Hellcat down. If you couldn't already tell, this series was for younger audiences who were introduced to Spider-Man from his appearance on PBS's Electric Company. While panning down through the Void's layers of sediment, we see several artifacts, including a Melanor and, oh my thunder god, Throg. This is Thor, but a frog. He's Throg, and he has all the powers of Thor once he touches Mjolnir. This version of Thor debuted in one of the most beloved Thor stories during Walt Simpson's iconic 1980s run. Loki turns Thor into a frog, and Thor helps a bunch of Central Park frogs fight off an invading army of rats. The jar holding Throg is labeled T365 because while Loki turns Thor into a frog in Thor 364, the amphibian didn't turn into a tiny green Thor until Thor number 365. Seen in the Loki's bowling alley lair is a box of Rock's wine, the story brand wine that's no doubt found at Rock's Mart. Remember the final act episode 2 took place in a Rock's Mart at the heart of an apocalypse? And in the comics, Roxxon is Marvel's default evil megacorp and was one of the main antagonists during Jane Foster's tenure as Thor. And what do you think about these things you missed in Loki? Let us know in the comment section below. And hey, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so we continue giving you the best content. Thanks for reading. See you in the next video.